networking concepts in Linux. Okay, so how we do a lot of networking stuff when we talk about IP address, right? In a system, we talk about firewalls, right? We talk about IP address, we talk about different ports, right? Different services running, right? Whether internet is working or not in my system. So we have lot of such networking things we deal in Linux as well, like we do in Windows. But in Windows, it is all very user friendly. Here we have to use lot of commands. Okay, so we'll see about the first command, ifconfig, right? Ifconfig is a Linux networking utility used to view and adjust the configuration of network interfaces. Okay, what it does actually, it displays us the technical details such as IP address, MAC address, MTU, packet statistics, etc. Basically, to know about the IP address, current IP address, and what is the IP address of the system, and what is the MAC address, all that stuff to know, I can use ifconfig. Okay, it is also useful for us in enabling and disabling network interfaces, right? So if you don't know the IP address, you will not know which all services are listening on this IP address, which all services are running for this IP address, right? For that we use this ifconfig. What is the command? To view information about all network interfaces in your Linux system, we use ifconfig, right? It will help us in listing all the network interfaces along with their IP address, MAC address and other relevant details. Okay, simple command ifconfig, but this is a legacy command. Legacy means now we don't, in the advanced Linux operating systems, advanced Linux distributions, we don't use this ifconfig. It's an old one. Okay, some old Linux still uses this, so we are discussing it. The important one is IP. So the one which has replaced ifconfig is IP, just the command IP. Okay, so this is a very important command. What is this? IP command in Linux is used to configure and manage network interfaces, IP addressing and routing. Okay, so that's what it is, a replacement of older networking tools like ifconfig and root. So in the latest version of Ubuntu, you have to use only IP. What all things it does? It will help us in displaying IP addresses and managing them. It will also help us in configuring routing tables and network rules, right? IP command supports both IPv4 and IPv6 networking. Okay, so if you want to basically see the networking interfaces and IP address, you have to just give this command IP addr IP address show. It will show you the IP addresses of all the networking interfaces, right? So interface like Ethernet, LAN, what all things you have used, which network interface you are using, Wi-Fi router, if you are connected to Wi-Fi or LAN cable, Ethernet cable, all that it will show you. It will show the MAC address, IPv4 and IPv6, and also the subnet masks, right? So in computer networks, you might have studied a lot about this IP addressing and subnet masks, right? So IP command is used for displaying the IP addresses and the networking interfaces, the connection status. If you are connected through Wi-Fi, right, or wireless LAN, then what is the status of it? Is it connected? Whether the data packets are being received and sent or not, right? So all that stuff we come to know using the IP command, right? The syntax of that is IP options object. Okay, and then we can also give more commands here, right? See here, I gave here IP and the object is address for me, right? So options basically will show you there are so many options. You can use IP -s, right? IP -dev, like this we have a lot of things which we will see in the practical part. Okay, we will talk more about this. The next command is NMCLI, right? So network manager command line interface, NMCLI, command line interface of a network manager, right? So what basically what all stuff in general what a network manager does, all things can be done using NMCLI, right? So what is this command? It's a command line tool which is used for controlling network manager, right? It can also be used to display network device status, right? If you are connected to some network, the device, you can see the status. You can create, edit, activate, deactivate and delete network connections, Wi-Fi connection, LAN connection, all that you can create or delete. You can activate and deactivate them using NMCLI command, right. So, what is the use of this NMCLI? One use is scripts. Instead of manually managing the network connections, it utilizes network manager via NMCLI. So, if you want to manage a network connection, we can use, you can write some scripts, automatic scripts which can do the task, right. Also, it can be used to control network manager with no GUI and control system wide connections. Sometimes we don't have GUI, right. There also I can use this. Basically, NMCLI does the job of taking care of the connections, network connections, like you are connected to LAN, you are connected to Wi-Fi, all that. If I want to create, edit, activate, deactivate, for everything I can use NMCLI command. Syntax of this, right, NMCLI options, object and again command -help. Okay, we will understand more about this when we see the practical part. We can give lot of options here in NMCLI. We can give NMCLI -t, right, NMCLI -t. It will help you to show all those connections, right. Okay, then you can also give the device. You are connected to, let's say you are connected to LAN, Ethernet, you can give an NMCLI and you can give the device. You can ask to show NMCLI device show, let's say Ethernet 0. This is the name of a Ethernet which you are connecting. So, all the details about this Ethernet connection you can see, right. You want to know the status of this Ethernet, again you can give NMCLI DEV status, right. So, this will help you in displaying the status, it will help you in displaying the status, NMCLI dev status. Okay. Like this, you can, if you want to know different connections, what all connections my system is connected to, there also you can give NMCLI and connection show, NMCLI connection show. What is the use of this? It will show you all those network connections, all the connections which I have connected with. Okay. I understand theoretically it is very difficult for you. Once we see the practical part, you will understand them better, right. And the most popularly used command is ping, right. So, the ping command is a network utility to test the reachability of a host, right. Basically, we give like this, right, ping, I want to know whether the lpu.co.in, some website I am giving, I want to ping this. So, I can check whether this is reachable or not through internet. Can I connect to this website or not? Is this website live or not? Am I able to send request to this from my system or not? Okay, very, very popularly used. We have lot of options in ping. Okay, so ping is used to test the reachability of a host and measure the time it takes for packets to travel to and from that host. So, from my system, if I open a browser and if I type the website name like this, right, whether I am able to reach it or not, and if I am able to reach, how much time it is taking to send data to this website and receive data from this website, or the time of sending packets and receiving back, that also can be known using ping. Basically, we use ping to check whether internet is working in my system or not. Okay, so you can just use ping to see whether internet is working or not. This is again ping options, host or the IP address. If you know the IP address, you can give. See, we can give like this: ping space www.google.co.in. I can give this, right. So, whether I am able to reach this website or not, I can do that using ping command, right. The next one is netstat, very, very powerful tool, right. Even this is not only in specific to Linux or DevOps, but it is very popularly used in networking. Netstat, people who work on system administrators, network people, right, they use this a lot. Very, very important. It has lot of stuff to do, right. What is this netstat? Okay, It stands for network statistics, right? How much data is received, how much data is sent, how many active processes are running, right? How many active connections are there from my system, how many ports are there, all that information. We have lot of options in this NetStat. Okay, it stands for network statistics. It is used to display various network related information such as active connections, listening ports, routing tables and interface statistics. Okay, right? System administrators commonly use NetStat to monitor network activity. Okay, how what is, see, I'm connected to a private network. Let's say I'm using Airtel or Jio fiber in my, say, home or in my office, right? So how much data I have used till now, today how much data I have received and how much data I have transferred, right? In so all that information can be known using NetStat. Okay, some purpose, some usage or some application of NetStat, it will display active network connections. This is one task. Okay, identify ports that are in listen state. So how many processes are listening or how many connections I am in the listening state, that also can be known. It will show the routing tables. It will help us in knowing the process ID of a particular network port. And you can see the statistics of protocol wise, TCP wise, UDP wise, what all data I can see using network statistics. Basically, it talks more information about the data, right? Next one is trace route. The next one is trace route command. What is this trace route? Trace route command in Linux is a network diagnostic tool, right? So, like ping I am using whether I am able to reach there or not, right? Ping I am able to see whether I am able to connect to that particular application or not. Whereas trace route, it will tell me how to reach that. Okay, so if I give like this, let's say trace route, I will give www.google.com, let's say. So from my system, okay, it will, how, because you see, I think in networking you understand, if this is my machine, I am connected, there is one router here, which I am transferring the data to my machine. This is connected to a switch, there is one switch which has lot of networking cables, and this is again the main line for this is from a, right, some network hub, right. So like this we have lot of other devices connected, then it goes to the public IP. Okay, so which all devices are connected in between, I am receiving data from some source, some public source, I am through different connections and switches I am able to access it, right. So this trace route will help you to know the path from which I am receiving the actual data, from where am I receiving the actual data. See, it is a network diagnostic tool used to track the path that data packets take from your computer to a destination. So which all network switches and routers it is accessing to reach the destination. Okay, so it sends packet across the internet and shows you every hop, every router and server it passes through. Okay, so when I am connecting from my system to I am sending data to a particular website, I am accessing the website, I am sending some data. So actually the what all path it is taking, how many routers and switches it is crossing by, everything I can come to know. So it talks about the path. Whereas ping will help me to know whether I am able to connect to that or not. Path will, trace route will show you the path, how you are trying to access it, that will be known to you, right. So this is about the command trace route. Okay. And the final one is SSH, secure shell, right, very important. Secure shell, it allows secure remote access to a system over a network. You should enable SSH in your system. Okay, if you don't enable SSH in your system, then you cannot connect from another system. Basically you cannot do the remote access. Remote access means if there are some 10 systems connected in a network, right, some systems are connected in a network like this, This is your system. You can access this system from another system also using, I think you are aware of this remote desktop connection, right? In a single net, in the same network, I can access my system from another system, right? For that, this SSH should be enabled. Secure shell should be enabled. But it has a lot of stuff to talk about networking, cryptography, right? Public key, private key, all that stuff comes into this SSH. But in our this perspective, in networking perspective, we need to enable SSH to allow remote access to a system over a network. Within a network, I can connect using SSH. So SSH should be enabled, right? So what it does, it is commonly used to manage servers, execute remote commands and transfer files securely. From a server, there are a lot of data in that. You can transfer, you can get that using FTP, right? File transfer protocol, you can use FTP command from one server. From one server, you can get the data in your machine. Okay, if this is possible only if this SSH connection is enabled, right? So Ubuntu supports SSH through OpenSSH server package. So we have to install this package OpenSSH. OpenSSH should be installed, which can be installed and configured directly. If you install that, then your system is open, which can be accessed remotely from another system or other systems in the same network, right? So this is useful. Let me give one practical example of this SSH. Okay, you have put your application, you have put your application and database, okay, part of it, maybe 70% of database, I have this full I have kept in AWS. Let's say I am using one cloud platform, right? And remaining 70%, 30% of data is in my machine. In my machine, I have this 30% of database now. Now I want to run this application from my machine, right? So then there is a necessary for to have a connection between these two. There should be connection between these two, because this is a public one. AWS is a public cloud platform. It's a public cloud available everywhere to everyone. Yours is a private system. Now if you want to create connection between these two, if you want to execute this application, build this application or test the application or do some processing, right, there should be a connection between these two, okay, and that is possible of using SSH, right. So in this course we are talking about cloud computing also, because we are going to deploy our applications in the cloud. We are going to store the data in the cloud, right. In that case, your data can be accessed, the 70% of the data can be accessed from your system if there is a secured connection between both. And how do I create this? Using command line interface. It means you write some Linux commands there to execute it. Okay, so this is about SSH command. It is very, very useful. Only if SSH is enabled, only then you can access the systems in other network or in the same network, right. So these are a few important concepts in the networking related stuff in Linux. Okay, so we have a lot of other commands also. These are few very important commands in Linux.